Welcome to In the Last Days. I am the host of the show, RPI, Radio Pastor Isaac. And it's an hour-long show giving you biblical information coming from the Word of God. And yes, that's right. We are back again, and we got some more special guests back in the house. But before I get started, let me tell you a couple ways that you can listen to RPI. One of the ways is on WCC 99.9 FM. That means that you are in the Augusta, Georgia, or the Aiken, South Carolina area. If you are in this area, then you can listen to me live on the radio. That's right, we are live on the radio, and everybody that lives in the Augusta area or the Aiken area or the New Ellington area can listen to us live on the radio. And if you are on the radio, on the internet or YouTube or Facebook or any social media site or any internet site, you can listen to us right on YouTube, which is my name, Patrick, Patrick, last name Isaac, Isaac. And for those of you that love that YouTube, really love YouTube, I think it's over a billion. It's over a billion people on YouTube, over a billion people on Facebook. You want to watch us live on YouTube, it's Studio WCC. That's Studio WCC. We are live on YouTube. We live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and we also live on the World Wide Web. That's right. We are live and on the internet. Now, the way you want to listen to us on the internet, you go to www.cwchrist.com. Now, I say that a little fast because I'm a little excited today, and that's what happened when RPI get a little excited. He's talking fast. Like Speedy Gonzalez. Pew! No, let me stop. But if you want to listen to us live on the radio, live on the internet, you go to www.cwchrist.com. That's www.cwchrist.com. And you will see a live on the right-hand side, but that radio page is also for anybody that want to be a part of the radio station. If you got a sermon or something you want to bring, this is part you can look. Tells you the daily topic, what's going on around the CSRA, and it also have a calendar and who's new and who's on. So if you want to do that, but if you want to listen to me live, you can go there and listen to us on your internet, on your internet, your cell phone, laptop. And today I am with my sponsor. I do have a sponsor. Can you believe that RPI got a sponsor? I am looking for sponsor, but I do have a sponsor that is Dekel Mpact Service, homeschool service. And Miss Sandra Keller is here today. She is sponsoring RPI. And every first of the month, we will be doing homeschool talk. Amen. Let's talk about homeschool. Let's talk about Dekel Mpact, what the service they provide, what is going on, what they are doing. Like I said, it was an awesome show that one time. We was going to bring them back. So since she is one of my sponsors now, so she'll be coming back. Not everybody can do that. I just do it for only the people that's special. And if you want to be a sponsor for RPI, just hit me up on my email, which is patrick.isaac246@gmail.com. That's right. I just gave you my real email. I ain't going to go to my other one. It's because you want to sponsor me. So it's patrick.isaac246@gmail.com. My name is spelled Patrick, Patrick. Isaac, ISAAC 246@gmail.com. Hit me up with an email if you want to be a sponsor. You better hurry up. They're going to get full. I got one right now. And best sponsor I ever had. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about homeschool service and what it provided. So I got my sister here. She's back again. It was such a good show, and it was so much that wasn't said, but at the same time, it was so much that was said. Right. And we brought her back, and like I said, we're going to try to work this thing out every first of the month. Mm-hmm. Her business partner ain't here today. She kind of slide out today. Here. Oh, she is. She's on the phone.
She's online. Everyone's watching. Ricardo's online. We're communicating through texting. She's here. She couldn't be here physically, but Ricardo is here. Where I go, Ricardo go. Where Ricardo go, I go.
Listen, Ricardo, we ain't going next time. You gonna be hiding next time now. Y'all don't be getting scared coming to Doctor's Messing. But we are back again, and I kind of want to we're gonna try to do this at least once a month, first of the month, and we want to give y'all the type of service of homeschool and what they have to offer. I feel that is very, very important now with the school system and a lot of things. And I was listening to the guy that's over. I think he was over school. What's them people that call that's in the Congress over the school system? I think he's like over the board or board or something in the Senate. Mm-hmm. And he was saying that how that they want the kids to come back to school, and how that the kids miss almost 2 years of school because of COVID. And they got everything, and he said that's a lot of time, a lot of education that's being missed. Right. And that is a lot when you miss 2 years of school because of COVID and all that. And they are places and things that they're prepping up for, but in the school system, it is, and I'm not talking bad about the school system because I am come out of the school system. Miss Sandra was teaching the school system, so the school system is good, but we want to provide other services.
Other choices, yes.
Yes, because see, some people think there's more. It's more than one choices.
Yes, that's the key word, choice.
Go ahead, and then Sandra, let's you got some new things coming.
I do. Ricardo's on the line too. She wanted me to tell you she's on the line.
Amen.
She's on the line.
And she's also on the
That's what she's telling me. She's on the live.
Online. So she's also on my Facebook page. So if you have any questions, just post it there and she will answer them. Those who do want to call in to ask Miss Sandra questions about Dekel Mpact and the homeschool service, what are your options? The number is 803-335-3131. And listen, folks, don't just sit in your house and like, well, I ain't gonna call. Call. Ask questions. This we talking about our children's education. Right. That's one of the things that you wanna. That would take the children to being independent. Being educated. Call. Ask. You can answer any question. Like my job said. There is no such thing as a dumb question. The dumb question, a question you don't ask.
That's right.
So I want to ask you, so what is new going on with Dekel Mpact? I know there's been a lot of new things coming, and I can see the smile on your face. Y'all don't know, but Miss Sandra Kelly is she's very excited when it comes to her students and come to her students. She loves her students. And some of y'all don't know, these kids you get, what is your favorite break to have when you was in school?
My favorite break
was
recess, lunch.
I'm talking about the break when you what was your favorite break? When you
you mean like
school
leaving
break,
school, Christmas break.
Which we don't celebrate Christmas, but that was the favorite. Now, imagine you looking to get those 2 weeks off.
Right.
Her kids begging her, so they say, hey, we get the weekend off. We want to come back to school.
Wow. Wow.
They don't want to, on Friday, the last day of school. First, I want to encourage everybody, while we're conversating, if you want to call in, you have a question, please call in. I'm always willing to answer questions, no questions too small or too big. Ricardo's online. If you don't want to call in and ask a question, type it in the box. Ricardo's here. Both of us are available for you. I'm trying to stop my arms. My students critiqued the last broadcast.
Wow.
Yeah. So my students got to see the last broadcast, and they gave me some critiques on it. What we want to do, I do want to give you some information about some new things we have going on. We were going on break the last day of school, that Friday. The students were actually where most students may be kind of like excited for break and wanting to, leave on Friday. They came in ready. It was Polar Bear Express Day, thanks to a collaboration with Tamika, Miss Isaac. We had Polar Express Day, so we set out the gold bars, the backdrops, give them to take pictures, and they had Polar Express Day. But the thing that they were excited about, it wasn't the Polar Express Day. Now, I rolled out the red carpet. I don't know if Tamika took pictures for you, But I rolled out the red carpet. I'm talking about the red carpet. I don't know. The red
Yeah.
carpet probably about 40 feet long.
Wow.
Roll out the red carpet, put up the crowd control bars, the gold bars with the red rope, put up the backdrop, making it special for them. You know what they were excited about?
What?
They had a state capitol test that morning.
You know what? They was. I'm gonna be honest with you, because my kids go to school. My kids was excited about the test. Now, Brianna, which is my 10-year-old daughter, and Christopher, they going back and forth. Like, hey, here, I'm finna ask me a question, and they give me the paper.
Wow.
And I asked, and now this is what they excited about.
Wow.
And I'm saying to myself, don't y'all? Well, no, Daddy, that's crazy.
They were excited about the state capitol test that morning. I could tell Tamika was nervous. She was like, "You're giving them a assessment, so someone won't be able to participate." I said, "No." I said, "I'm confident. Everybody's gonna do well."
Yeah.
She said, "You sure?" "I'm confident. They're gonna do well."
Right.
They were so excited, and they blew it out the ballpark.
Wow.
One of the unique things about us is being able to learn like their siblings, but they were able to learn that together. So creating those opportunities where they can actually learn together, that's one good thing. And then also the other good thing about it is they get to extend their learning. So although they learned the state capitals, they're not finished, because we don't just learn the state capitals and say, "Oh, well, we're finished." You still have to take another state capital
Right.
little assessment, and they have I'm gonna say if Ricardo's gonna text me, they have a state capital project that everyone pretty much text or called over the break to say, "Are you gonna put the state capital project in our Google Classroom?"
Wow.
And I'm like, "You guys are on break. We're gonna upload it when you get back to our center." But they wanted the state capital project over the break because that much excitement.
Wow.
They have the resources, the websites uploaded in their Google Classroom. They still don't have the project in the classroom. They have the websites. They've already started looking at the websites for the project. The project is done, it's completed, but it's literally like a 2-month project. It's a 3D project, a 10-page report, some other things, brochure in there to just show different methods of learning. And so they're really excited about that. And so the thing I love is we go at all of them pace. Everybody's on a different little skill plan, and just going at the pace and just watching them navigate themselves. They came in yesterday and today, and normally in a classroom, what we're a center, it's homeschool support. You have to kind of tell them after break what's the plan, where we're going, what we're doing.
Okay.
And what amazed me yesterday is everybody knew what they were doing. They went to go pick up their own book. It wasn't like, "Okay, I want you to start math. I want you to start reading over here."
They already knew.
They just pick up their own books and begin working on the next page.
Wow.
Very self-directed. So I think with the learning, what I see with homeschooling, when my oldest son was homeschooled, it was the same way. It was, very self-directed, and they've gained independence. A lot of them have been in our program for 2 years, so their independence is there. They know exactly where they're going and where they want to go with their learning.
I know one of the issues sometimes when you come out the break or when you come back after summer break, the kids tend to forget, and they be like, "Well, it's like you got to do a refresher."
Yeah.
But when I'm here with your kids, they already in tune.
Yeah, partially because it's not anything that we do, but remember, we collaborate with the home. We collaborate with the parents, and I think the biggest factor we have on our side is our parents. So learning is just not at the center. Learning is at home.
At home, yes.
Tamika knew all the skills she was going to work on with the kids over the break. They get to integrate what they've learned, what they've done, from automotive to the little financial to the States. We had one student travel to New York, and the mom sends me pictures.
Man, that is awesome.
Is New York her, what the mom says, is New York her state that she picked? Because we're going to New York and we want to go ahead and get started on our project.
Wow.
So that's just an example of real world learning. But the student state is Texas, and the mom called me today. We spoke and told me that they're going to Texas at the end of the month because
That is
that's
awesome.
her learning. And what I'm finding about our program, I'm going to get back to the question you asked me, but what I'm finding is our program is widely accepted by entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, as you know, being an entrepreneur, it can be really hectic with the schedules. And it's a good way to intertwine your children in your business when they're homeschooled, whether they come to our center or whether they're at the house where we have a major restaurant over in Augusta, Georgia. That's children, I think they have 11, 12 kids that are homeschooled that we were asked to assist with curriculum.
What?
And that was last year. And then we've done some more curriculum writing because we'll help support families away from the center. So it's not unusual for a lot of homeschooling families to call us and ask us to assist with curriculum. It's more flexible. And if you guys ever, I can't remember the name of the book that I read, but when you're an entrepreneur, the best way to make sure that your children take over your legacy is to intertwine them into the business. And they say typically, if you don't intertwine them in the business, meaning teaching them the different concepts of the business, if something happens to you, and let's say you pass on, the business only will stay in the family 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
So homeschooling is always an opportunity. I tell all my homeschooling families it's an opportunity to progress your business. And I've watched, I don't know if Ricardo's going to text me, but a big percentage of our families are entrepreneurs, and I've watched their business grow during the time of COVID. I've watched my families that take support from us. I watched their business thrive through COVID and still be able to maintain business. So that's a good thing, them having their child right by them, and the child learning. They're learning math skills typically, writing skills, how to develop flyers, how to conduct business, bank business. So all of that's helping us to help them.
Wow.
That is fantastic because that's what it's all about. And then they get to spend time with their parents.
Yeah.
You know, spend time.
And family is that's the one. I said I was going to come over here. I had an agenda, okay, everyone. I had an agenda. Those of you that are listening out there, I had an agenda. We were going to talk about the misconceptions of homeschool. And we kind of got off topic because radio, RPI, Patrick Isaac. But I did want to share some misconceptions, but I'm getting Ricardo.
But we can still do that because that is one of the things that a lot of parents don't know. You know, about homeschool. They, you know, oh, well, you do this and you got like, you know, when we first started, you know, we thought that we had to do like the school system, you know, do this, get them up. And that's not how it works. Then you have some parents, they struggle, you know, because they trying to, you know, they trying to figure out, you know, the pattern, and then they go to these things where they have to, you know, do these different programs that they mail in, and you do it that way, and you know, but that is one of the deception that I want to talk about. Plus, it's so much stuff that I do want to talk about, but I want you to lead, you know, talk about that because. So what is the deception? What is one deception about homeschool?
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to tell you, Ricardo wants to share that in 2019, from the fall 2019 to 2020, homeschool rose from 3.4% to 9%. That's almost tripling.
Wow.
And you mentioned something about, they said that children are 2 years behind. If your child was in 4th grade when COVID began and your child is in 7th grade now, if your child was in 4th grade, they would be in 7th grade now from when COVID kind of began, and they probably are, to a certain degree, probably are behind. Think about the time that we missed. Now let's go back and let's play this, and then we're going to get to the misconceptions. So COVID began in March of 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. Students were just coming back from Christmas break. They typically come back in January. They have Martin Luther King out. February, you have some holidays there. You have President's Day, and so on. So between January Third, fourth, starting to February, the students probably typically had about 4 holidays, 4 to 6 holidays, depending on teacher work days, anywhere from 4 to 6 holidays. We got out maybe March 12th, March 13th.
Yeah.
The students went to virtual learning.
Right.
Well, the problem with virtual learning, if I've never been on a computer and now I have to do work on the computer, it's going to take me a little bit more time.
Exactly.
So requesting due dates, and some just went home with work packs. So if I got a work pack that's this thick and I'm already struggling in school, so roughly from March to May, how many months of school is that?
March to, let's see, March.
So from March to May?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like 2
March,
months.
April,
2
May.
months.
Okay, and so the next thing about that is we're out the summer. Well, when your child is out the summer, if you do nothing with them but, just typically they just hang around the house, you have another 2-month deficit.
Yep.
When school came back in August, we still had a lot of days we were opening and closing. I think they said typically the amount of days that the students open and closed in the school year, I think on average for each school system, it probably was about 36 days.
Wow.
Now let's include the days that they also missed, just being absent there on days. And so that's a lot of time that they miss just that. And then we're back at the summer. Once again, the summer, you're out again for the summer. And then 2021, we opened back up schools. Some of them started delayed. I think Richmond County, maybe, I think Columbia started on time. Some others started, Aiken started on a delay back in September, I think, or something. So you're still missing a couple of more time with them. So you think about all the time that they've missed all the days. They only go to school 180 days of school
That's
in
right.
a year.
And that ain't including the weather, because we had to shut down for the storm, those real bad storms. They had to shut schools down.
That's
So
true.
Yeah, and then you think about your average homeschooler. I think I made a post on my Facebook page. The good thing about homeschool, we were never on break. So although our center closed, for my parents, there was no break.
yeah,
Homeschoolers can run their school year all year round. They don't start typically. Some may start in August and then May, but it just depends on you. You have that flexibility. If you want to begin your school year in April, you can begin your school year in April. It's up to you. You know, what works best for your family, what works best for your child. It's all about the child with homeschooling. And so it's what worked best for them. And so that's how they're not able to miss lost days. So if you go on vacation every year in December for 2 weeks, you're going to plan your school year around it if you're a homeschooler. You're always going to plan your vacation time, your family vacation time. We do have students at the school that go all year round. They may take a week break and they're all year round homeschoolers. That's the difference. And once again, it's not homeschooling is better or public or private sectors are better. It's all about choice. One thing that Ricardo and I always tell everyone, it's all about choice and what you choose, your preference. And I'm hoping that you would choose the best preference for your child. And so making that choice, making it what's best for them, looking at your learner style, what they need. And so let's get to the misconceptions. So the biggest misconception that we see about homeschooling is that they are antisocial and they're inactive.
yes,
So that's very untrue with homeschoolers being antisocial.
and that is because people feel like, well, the kids ain't communicating with other kids. They home, and then you hear, well, they all sheltered and all that stuff, which is not true.
No. From my observation, now I could give you what research says, but I'm going to go with my observation and what I observed. Ricardo and I talk a lot about the difference coming from public school, coming from going to homeschool, me homeschooling my children, 2 of my children, and then having 2 public. And what I've observed with the children that we have now versus being in a classroom, my children that were public school versus my children that were not public school, that were homeschooled at some point, what I observed, they're more sociable. And what I mean by more sociable, they speak up a lot more. They're more intertwined with the real world. They have a kind of a boldness about them.
Yeah.
And Ricardo and I observed one day, because we do testing for both public. We do testing for both public and homeschoolers, and one day we had to test 3 homeschoolers, 1 public school child. We were testing them at the same time, public school and the homeschool. We were testing them for assessment to come into our center. And what we observed, the homeschoolers, this was Ricardo's first time really observing both together. The homeschoolers, one of the computers had a glitch, and the homeschooler says, "Miss Kelly, the computer got a glitch. What you have going on? I don't think it's my day to test." Now everybody's testing. I'm like, I'm used to being with homeschoolers now. I'm just saying, oh, well, let me check, let me see. Well, the other student that comes from the public sector, computer had went down too, but I didn't notice it. And I fixed the other one. After a while, the other student that come from the public school sector kind of just sat there with the hand, and I'm so used to the hand not being there. And the computer had been down probably, I think, maybe about 5 minutes, and sat there with the hand. And I said, "Well, what's wrong?" And so the student tells me, I think my computer, but didn't have that quite, boldness like the rest of them. And I noticed when they were, I noticed some other things when they were testing too. They were like more relaxed. Like, this is like just nothing. The body language was really different, because assessments don't pretty much bother homeschoolers because they're not overly assessed. I think your kids can tell you they're not overly assessed. It's not they don't even take assessments every month.
Wow.
It's just, I'll ask them sometimes, y'all want a quiz on it? You want an assessment on it? Because a quiz or assessment don't tell you that they know anything. It can tell you that they know it for the moment.
Okay.
The real assessment, the real quiz comes after I've taught you over a couple of months, and we have not just completed that concept, and I go back and I try and assess you after we've learned it 6 months ago and we never looked at it again. So I just noticed that their socialization skills, they were very comfortable talking with Ricardo and I. And although we were adults, sometimes children can be intimidated talking to adults and stuff. But they were very comfortable asking, "You selling popcorn over there? Can I get some popcorn?" I like.
So they're more vocal and more standing.
They were, and then when I look at the students in our center, they definitely are. The parents say all the time, they're very vocal, they're very, bold. And when I look at my 2 sons, the 2 that were homeschooled, they're go-getters. They are very they're very upfront about what they're going to do, what they're going to want. My son. And then my other 2 that were public, they're real mild and real meek, and they just kind of. They're so different, but you're a little bit freer when you're homeschooled. You're a little bit freer, so you're not kind of, in a box, because there are not a lot of rules that govern when you're in the home with your child, teaching. So they tend to be a little bit more relaxed, and they socialize very well. They can articulate very well. Most of the time they're on the go with their parents, so their articulation is very good.
Any question you want to ask, Sean?
No, but by her just saying that, it's almost like when you homeschool, you don't have the peer pressure to be somebody else. You can just be yourself and grow within that. And so, it's like the homeschool, like she said, it builds confidence. It's a confidence builder.
And she just texted me, 67% of the homeschool students successfully graduate from college. I don't know if we had a couple of them in our area from South Carolina and Georgia that actually graduated early because they're kind of at a different pace. They go at their pace. They move along as they need to.
That's something that you don't hear much about, homeschool kids going to college because, homeschool is not a conversation that come up. It's always public schools. That's amazing to graduate early.
They most of them tend to graduate early. Your son is entering high school, And we're looking at a program. They allow them to do dual enrollment at 10th grade. But there is a possible program that's opening up, I think, maybe at Arizona State University. I think that's the one that contacted us about allowing them to do dual enrollment at 15.
Wow.
What is dual enrollment?
So dual enrollment is when they actually can be enrolled in their high school classes and college. They can begin taking their college courses. And homeschoolers do have that option. They have that option with public school as well. They can take dual enrollment classes. So both of them, that's the same with both of them. But they tend to, want to get out, socialize, be a part. The programs that we have at the school actually is a lot of socialization for them. If anyone ever seen Dekel Mpact students out, they love to socialize and talk. They love it,
Especially when they go on them field trips. Boy, they got lots to say.
They have a leader that loves to talk. I love to talk. I love to communicate. I don't think we have one quiet test day in there ever. And when I was in public school, during testing, regular testing, not standardized, I would talk during, while I was giving my students assessments, So they get it honestly with the talking. All of them are good articulators. They love talking. They love presentation. We have a couple of them that are going to 4-H state competition next month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they'll be doing some speaking there at 4-H. Brianna's one of them.
Man, look at here. She ain't tell me all that.
Oh, Brianna is a speaker. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to get Brianna in here one day, and Brianna can articulate herself
Trust
well.
me, I done had mouth of the South in here, and
oh really?
And she doesn't, when she go on that radio station, she just I was shocked, because she out talk and say everything. But that is one of the things that I do love to see the kids grow, because a lot of kids get shy, and we had one in the church that go there. I was shocked when her daughter got up and sung.
And that threw me off.
It threw everybody off because she was always, so quiet. And now she's, she got up and sung, and, and she was saying how that you was teaching her daughter to step out. Don't be, be in the shadows. And I see that with a lot of, when I come up to the school, I go in there and see that, hey, how you doing? And Miss Kelly, can we, Miss Kelly, Miss Dees, can we? And they very polite. Very polite, very respectful. When I came up there, they all talk and, talk with it. And you can have a conversation with them. Not talk, baby talk just like an adult.
Right.
They can really articulate themselves. You ever heard that saying, what's on the leadership trickle on down? You have to know, who you have your children interacting with.
That's right.
And because most of the time you think about it, in school, even at our center, if you're with me 4 hours, 8 hours a day, if you're with someone 8 hours a day, that's pretty much your life.
Yeah.
Because we generally sleep 8 hours, we're generally up 8 hours at school or at work, and then the other 8 hours with our family. Yep. So that person influences 1/3 of your life. Wow. And a lot of parents don't understand the impact that something can have. Generally, if your children go to public, if they're homeschooled with you, if you're homeschooled in the house full time, then they're with you about 16 hours and they're sleeping another 8 hours. Yep. That's a lot of time to impact a child's life. So you want to make sure whatever you give in your child's 1/3 to, that they're being impactful. Impactful for success, impactful for the future. What we say, what we do influences children. And I know we can't control the environment. I know everybody can't, afford to stay home and homeschool their child. I know a lot of people can't afford to send them to a homeschool center or, get support. But I would definitely say it's definitely an experience. And if you experience it just one time to see your child, be free. I think that's what I like when parents come and say, my child is doing this now, or they'll email record and say, I got this from my child today. We're letting them blossom and we're letting them be who they are. Right. Most importantly, I think before you can touch academics, you have to see the child for who they are.
Yeah.
You know, if you're homeschooling in the home, you're looking at your child first. You're looking at what your child needs. You're looking at where they need to be first. And so I think us having that mindset, looking at the whole child and where they are and where they need to be and thinking about their interests. A lot of times with everything we do is interest-based.
Right.
We had one student that wanted to learn about Emmett Till.
Wow.
Emmett Till. You heard the story about him.
Yes, I do.
And so, you know, he's reading the Rosa Parks books. We go to the library, reading the Rosa Parks book, and wanted to hear about it. So, you know, he says, you know, he want to do a whole lesson.
They're actually making a I think I don't know if it's a biography or they're making a show, a movie about Emmett Till, and they what happened, you know, as it growing up and everything. But I think it's a biography. I saw it the other day. I think it was on HBO.
Wow.
You know, one of the things that I do want to talk about is the work program that you was talking about. I don't know if that's something we can talk about or deviate from, about how the children can, you know, do interviews.
So we can. And this gives you opportunity. If you have a business in the CSRA, you can collaborate with our co-op program, Dekel Mpact, assist Mpact co-op with it. But in our co-op program, we are developing, we're in the process, we're networking with a couple of employers. Georgia law says that students can work at 14, just not during school hours, and they can only work 3 hours a day. So we are partnering with some companies to begin the work process because we want our students to be college or career ready and giving them hands-on skills. So we're partnering with some people, developing some programs for them. But first, they have to do our interviewing skills. They have to know work schedules. You know, that safety. You know, we run a strict schedule with the safety schedule. If you're on safety schedule, I don't know if your son told you, if you're more than 5 minutes late, you can't be on safety today.
Wow. And sometimes I be wanting to choke Chris. Dad, you know, you're making us late, Dad. I'm like, okay, Chris, I'm trying to get this, son. You know, but y'all do got to get up on time too. But yes, when it comes to the school, I noticed that my kids are very attentive, meaning that they know the time they got to leave. They know the time where, you know, like this morning, my son said, Dad, Mom, can you call Miss Kelly and Miss D and tell them we're going to be late? You know, and, you know, I'm like, Chris, I'm going, you know, because I'm a morning person. I'm not a morning person, so I move slower than my wife, you know, so they very attentive. And when they was doing the patrol, he was like, Dad, it's too, you might as well just, I'm like, what happened? He said, we late. We got to sit on the side and going in. So I try to get up early and do that.
That crosses over to real life. Once again, it crosses over. The average child don't care if they have a tardy at school.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. I'm tardy. You know, you can give them that tardy slip. My students, the responsibility, and I'm tough. Ricardo tough too.
Oh, yeah.
We tough it out with them. But the responsibility level, like when they do send me texts, I'm mad because you're late. But I have to respect you because you text me. You let me know you're going to be late. You let me know that you won't be on duty. That's responsibility.
Yes, it is.
At 11, 12, 13, and 14 years old. Most of us as adults, if we're going to be late, we won't call the employer. We just walk in and we act like everything okay unless the employer comes to us.
That's right.
And say, well, you were late so many times. These students, they're going to let us know. I could take them out to vendor events with me. Everybody shows up on time. Everybody's in the Dekel shirt. Everybody's shirt ironed. They take pride in themselves. They take pride in what they do. And the good thing I like about them, they have to multitask. They have to multitask their studies. They have to multitask by working in the center with other students, looking out for each other, all the different activities they do. And they do it. They can multitask. It's never too much. But then at the end of the day, whether they come to our center for our full-time program, co-op program, or hybrid program, we try not to impose on family time. If you've been with us all day, We're not giving no homework where you can't sit down with your family. You can't have dinner. You can't go to your Bible study. At the root and at the heart of everything is always going to be family.
Yes.
And so I think that's what I love about it. They don't. They sometimes we do give them assignments because they ask. And I'm like, y'all want me to give y'all, I want a break. But we'll give them assignments sometimes because they ask. But think about it. If you're with your school, now keep in mind, we're not a school. We're not a school. We're a support service. But if you're with your school, if your child is in school for 8 hours, why they coming home with 3 more hours of work?
Wow. Yes. Wow. And that happened a lot with Kiana when she was at David's.
Right.
Fine Art School. Not David's, C.T. Walker.
Right.
It was a lot of pressure because she would, she already, the busing, she was already 2 hours late anyway, coming home. Then when she get home, it'll be, she get out of school about, I think it was 2:30, but she don't get home till about 5. Then, she, try to get herself situated. She do homework to about 8, 9 o'clock.
Wow.
You ever heard that saying, I want you to go home and be with your family? You ever heard that saying, happy wife,
home, happy wife,
happy life?
Yeah, and happy kid, happy family.
Yeah, happy child, happy learning.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't have to force them to learn. Ricardo don't have to ask 4 or 5 times. Happy child, happy learning.
Wow.
Nothing is never, can you do? They want to know what's next. They want to do what's next. But once again, this is a homeschool atmosphere. That's how it would be when they're in the house with their parent, whatever their parent facilitates. That's how it is. They enjoy that time that they learn with their parents and they make stuff and they get to, do the projects together with their family. They get to talk about things. I can't stress the importance of when a child is happy, they'll thrive.
Yes.
When they're comfortable, they will thrive.
Right.
And that's what kind of just happened with us supporting our families. Once again, we couldn't do it without our families because they make everything possible.
Yes.
This week, we have a lot of our students out this week, not due to COVID. No. But we just have a policy in place. If you travel, students have to wait 5 days to come back to school.
That's very good.
So all of our parents have a respect level for us. So if they travel, they generally are out the center for 5 days, no matter what. If they travel the end of the month, beginning of the month, middle of the month, you wait 5 days and you come back. And that's just a general policy that, in the times that we're living in post-COVID, during COVID, it's just something to keep everyone safe. But it doesn't make a difference for our parents because they're teaching them at home. They're away teaching them. So for us, it's just you can't go to our center, but we're not saying you can't learn. That's the difference. It's a difference when you say, oh, well, we stop learning ceases. But for us, it's just okay. And for the parents, it's just okay. Right. I'm seeing what Ricardo wants. She wants me to share with, this is a misconception, too. This is a big misconception.
What is that?
Homeschool students play all day and no meaningful learning takes place.
You know what? That is a big conception. I have to say that because, when you hear homeschool, oh, man, y'all got it made. You got the house chilling. You ain't got to do. But then when my wife actually started doing it, when they start going to Dekel, I'm like, oh, these kids be they pretty tight. It's kind of I would say Miss Deed and Miss Kelly run a tight ship in there.
A tight ship.
But the kids love it.
Wow.
They love it. The learning. And my wife had two of the young ladies that was at the house, with Brianna, and I usually go upstairs and they was getting ready. Was it something to play or something they had to study for or do something? And and I'm like, what? No, I couldn't run it out and say, what's wrong? We get to study for this. I'm like, y'all on break? Yeah, but and they all excited. Wow. And I'm saying to myself, man, where was this? And I'll be honest, if I had this excitement in school, then I would be a lot better. Wow. And they was really excited. They were cheering and screaming and hollering and, and when I listened to them, they play, but it's more school.
Right.
You know, they especially the states.
You hear me?
Alabama, oh my goodness.
You hear me?
What's
You
that?
hear me over here?
What's that?
I said, oh boy. My mom calls me every week. And my mom calls me crying. They call me, babe. I'm just so proud if I had teachers like you when I was in school.
Wow.
And I'm like, Mom, you're like almost 70 years old and you still regretting the teachers from when you was in school.
You know, but it's true though, because my kid singing states.
Wow.
That's what they doing for fun. She had, her play dates.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a play date, more like a school date.
Right.
Because they was doing states. Alabama, no, I'm saying them out. And they were singing a song, and then they'll do something else, and they do something with school. And that's the level, and see, people understand that's the level of service that Dekel provides.
Yeah.
Where your children stay focused. And I just wish that was in play when I was in school.
Wow.
You know, because I think I would have been a whole lot farther.
Yeah.
You know, in my education, because me, myself, I do have a reading problem. You know, especially me in ministry. You know, if it wasn't for Brother Sean reading, I have a problem reading in the simple fact that, you know, I had a problem with school with my eyes, but then before my eyes, I still have a problem in classes. And it was like I wasn't getting that attention or that me time with the teacher.
Right.
And my dad put me in all kind of programs. You know, Miss Nivens, I don't know if you remember Miss Nivens, she was over there in Aiken, over there in Graniteville. She was her school was very known for, you know, kids excelling. I went there. I went to another program in Aiken. It just didn't help, you know.
Sometimes Ricardo and I are big on developmental stages. And I think that we referred to this the last time we were here. Everyone enters the developmental stage at a different time. And research has been shown sometimes we try and thrust children into academics at the tender age of 2.
Wow.
And when we do that, they can't learn. But sometimes there are deficits in other areas.
Yes.
And making the child well balanced is more important. But, you know, we're so programmed to look at grades. Is my child at A honor roll? Is my child AB honor roll? Is my child at the top of the class? That comes in time when they're so young, 3, 4, 5. I can't imagine. I have a 4-year-old grandbaby. I can't imagine putting so much academics before her
pressure
that she can't be a child.
Exactly.
And I can't see, when I put a lot of academics, I can't see the child for who he or she is. And so sometimes we have to learn how to balance the academics, because remember, children learn through play. They learn through socializing, and socialization is a big part. I can't imagine having my grandbaby, and this is just me. Remember, Madison's homeschool, so this is different homeschool. I can't imagine Madison being so young, so small, saying, you sit right there and you be quiet. And you have to be quiet for 2 to 3 hours in a day.
Wow.
Man.
Or you have to be quiet 30 minutes, and she has this little friend that she wants to talk to and say something, even if it's just something, your hair's so cute, and she may get in trouble for it.
That kills the morale of a child, though.
And so, you know, and there is a time to speak, and there's a time when not to. I understand that, but I can't understand them being so young, you know, and just not being able to say anything for just, you know, a long time period. And so, especially being so young, because that language acquisition, that oral language acquisition is so important when they're young. That's how they learn through that oral language acquisition. A lot of times we think it's worksheets, we think it's flashcarding them. It's that oral acquisition, that acquisition of language, those expressive language skills, those receptive language skills is so important to develop and talk to them. You know, we talk all the time to our students that come in our center. We talk all the time. And if you come into my center, not talking like you said about the young lady with you. Well, you give it long enough and you be there long enough. They're going to talk. I think your daughters met me.
They did. Been talking about you ever
Really?
since.
I think they met me, and I think I didn't give them time to really see me. I think I asked, "What you do? Where you at?" But that's just me. I want everybody to thrive, and I love meeting children and seeing what they like to do, what they want to do, what they want to talk about. Making them feel like there's somebody. A lot of times we say, "Oh, well, they're children." Once again, when they don't need all that, they need all of that, and they need some. They most important need you to support who they are and who they are becoming, not change them from who they are. They need you to support who they are and who they're becoming, and they'll thrive naturally. We're going to have time to see them succeed. We're going to see them, succeed, but let them be children. It's okay to go outside and play and talk.
I got a question. How important it is for the parents to interact with the children when it's dealing with homeschool?
The interaction is very important. It goes back to, is this recorded? It goes back to that 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Whatever you do the most of, that's what you're going to get out of it. And if you truly have someone interacting, doing the teaching the most, then guess what you're going to get out of it? It's so important for you to put your own influence, your own twist on your child's education, no matter what the age is. Parents are the first educators. We, as certified teachers, public, private school teachers, homeschool support, we cannot do the job better than a parent.
Exactly.
Parents are the best teacher. That's why the law in Georgia only requires you to have a high school education to homeschool, because they realize parents can do this. You're going to do it better than a teacher, whereas we may have a curriculum, or whereas we may have set curriculum, one curriculum for 27 children. You're going to take and you're going to find work, you're going to do work for your child to learn multiplication. And if your child is not getting their facts one way, you're going to go look for something else. And if that doesn't work, we're going to try something else tomorrow. And if that doesn't work, then I may make up a song tomorrow. So that's why parents are the best teacher for children. When families call us and ask us for support, I always offer them to do it first themselves, because they can do it.
Yes.
And if they want us to support them, we will support them. But they are the best teachers of children. We have the credentials, we have the education, but by far means, we are not the experts. Parents are the best experts in teaching their children.
Oh, wow. Another question, testing. How often do you guys, like, you have to test for the state? Because I know there's a state requirement to see what grade they're in or what level in. And that's the question. How does that work?
So when you're homeschooled, the law requires you to test once every 3 years. They only test once every 3 years, beginning in 3rd grade. So if they were in 3rd grade, they would test in 3rd grade. They would test in 6th grade. Let's say your child goes homeschool in 5th grade, then they'll test in 3 years. So it's once every 3 years that they test them. They try not to, that you test them. You test them.
Okay, now, getting the high school diploma, how does that work? Does they do when children get up in homeschool and they get like in the 12th grade and they graduate, is that a test they'd have to take for the state to get there, or that's something that comes from the school, or how does that work?
Remember, when you are homeschooling, you have all rights over your child's curriculum. So you know how there's a superintendent of schools. This is here it goes. They do national testing only. That's recorded testing. Yeah, I need to make that known. I forgot that. They test every 3 years, national testing only. The difference with national testing and your state testing, when you're homeschooled, you have to get a national test and test your kids. That's how your children compare against the nation.
Okay.
When they're in public school, they do state testing.
Oh.
So it's how well they do against the state that's right here with your state. They compare them to other students in the state testing.
Gotcha.
Now, when your child go off to college, what do you think they're going to do, a state test or a national test?
Yeah, national.
Yeah.
I'm going to let that sink in for a while.
Oh, wow. The SATs.
Okay?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we distribute national testing. So so when it goes to high school, so remember, when you take to homeschool your child, you're actually taking away how can I say, you're taking away the government's education. So the government says when you decide to homeschool your children, you're saying that you have all rights over your child's education and that you will educate your child. So at that point, you now become, just like we have a superintendent of schools, you're now the superintendent of your child's education.
But you get like a high school diploma or something like that.
Yeah, you get it from yourself, and it has to be, you get it from your parents.
Okay.
It has to be accepted in colleges. Homeschool students cannot be turned away at any means from nowhere.
Wow.
Man, I didn't, I thought it was like, you got to go to state and they give you the diploma.
You're the superintendent of your school. You are the superintendent of your school.
See, that's something they don't tell you. They don't tell you that.
You are the superintendent of your school when you homeschool. Now, South Carolina is a little different. Now, remember, most of my talk is about Georgia law. In South Carolina, they have to choose 3 options. They have option 1, option 2, option 3. And so they have to be up under a co-op in South Carolina when they're doing it, and they have to go to their Board of Education and submit their things there when they decide to homeschool. Georgia's a little bit different. Every state, let me say it again, every state is different. My primarily talk is Georgia, but if you're in Florida, Alabama, Texas, every state law is different. So in Georgia, I'm going to say it again, you're the superintendent of your child's education. You're actually issuing a high school diploma. Your high school diploma has to be accepted everywhere. When your child gets in the 9th grade, you start developing a transcript for your child of all the courses that they take from 9th to 12th grade year.
Man, that's something they don't put in the memo and tell you.
No, they don't put that one in the memo.
It's amazing because, you were thinking that, you have to go to the school system. So basically you have no dealings with the school system at all.
No.
Wow.
Okay, you want to talk about this when Ricardo come, or you actually have I don't want to touch on it too much because this probably will be a next show.
We don't. We got.
Last year they passed the Dexter-Mosley Act in Georgia. It's I think it's in Florida. There's a couple of states it's in, but for Georgia, here I'm speaking for Georgia. If your child is homeschooled, your child may participate in sports and interscholastic activities at their local school, beginning in 6th grade through 12th grade. So I'm going to say it again. If your child is homeschooled in Georgia, your child still may play sports.
See, this is the information that they don't get, and this is the perception about home. Well, you can't do this. You could. That's one of the things that I remember in the future when my parents was talking about. Well, what if he wanted to play sports and all this? Which I'm probably back then was a lot different. But that is awesome because you don't miss out on your sports,
right?
Then you get the education at the same time.
Still getting your education.
What happened? They recognize for homeschooling parents is so important to a lot of families that they are hands-on with their child's education and academics, and to do that really takes away kind of your rights as a parent. You can't homeschool them; they can only go to government schooling because You know, that kind of takes away your rights. So allowing homeschool families to say, well, you can still homeschool, but they can participate in the extracurricular activities, still gives us the opportunity to say that we are qualified and we want to be over our child's academics, but we don't mind doing the extra activities.
Right.
And they are, if they don't want to participate in public school sports, there are homeschool league sports programs that they can participate in. And most of your homeschool league sports travel.
Wow. So they get a more broader.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So you're not giving anything up. And it may be right. It may be right for you. You may have a child that may not want to, be in the public school or private school sector, but may want to play those sports. That gives them an opportunity to thrive academically and to thrive being at home with their family, because that's just some children comfort level. We know a lot of families where children actually are homeschooled and they're with the family business throughout the day and stuff. So they get to still do that and still have that opportunity.
Man, this is amazing. I knew, but anyway, I'm just lost for words right now. Another thing, you also have a meal prep that's going on at the school.
Yes.
It's like the Dekel is getting bigger, broader and broader. It's a lot more. And what I love about the Dekel is that they work with the community, local businesses. You collaborate with them. You make things happening. Kids are not only they getting education, but they also getting, I call it worldcation too. Every day going out, how to do interviews, and then now they have this meal prep where they have this. Do we have time to talk about the meal prep?
Yeah. You're talking about the 5 meals that we buy. We get on Sunday that's prepped for the 5 days, and I ate 4 of them already.
But see, and here's the thing too, and I don't know about a lot of parents, but when you're working, sometimes you don't have time to do lunches. Especially healthy lunches, because I have ate one of her meals, and that I ate the plant-based hamburger.
You did?
Yes, I did, and that's why I really want to talk to her and want to, and I would love to have her one time come with y'all and talk about the meal prep.
I'm gonna tell her.
The plant-based, it was a plant-based hamburger with a salad.
Wow.
And I think it was a soup too. And instead of getting, French fries, it was potato fries. It was all healthy.
Right.
And it was an all prep meal.
It was great.
It was very good.
So the name of the business is A Side of Sunshine, and I'm going to contact her as soon as I leave here. A Side of Sunshine, and it's Patrice Sherrill.
Okay.
And she does the vegan and she does regular. The meal preps are perfect sizing.
Yes, it
is.
is.
The meal prep are, I'm going to ask Ricardo, if you're listening, send me some pictures for Pat, some information. They're perfect sizing. Everything is fresh. Everything is professional. She's a certified chef. She does meal prepping, and it's inexpensive. It's $26 for the week.
Wow. That's 5 days?
Yeah, 5 days, $26 for the week. And when I tell you, this week's lunch was, now remember, I've eaten 4 of my lunches already.
Yeah.
I ate 3 between Sunday and yesterday, and I ate number 4 today.
See, that's me. I can tell you right now. I love to eat. And that's amazing. That's what I'm talking about. Where we can get
So the lunch menu was quesadillas this week, spaghetti and meatballs, chicken fried rice.
Wow.
That is one of the meals that she cooks. And I had a chance to taste it, and it is fantastic.
Wow.
And it's, that can be also for, the adults too and kids.
It can. Now, you have to be one of those adults that's going to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Because I ate all my meals. I only have one. Tomorrow's Wednesday, and I have one more. I got up 2:30 that morning, and I ate the fruit cup. I ate the fruit cup.
Yeah.
At first, it was the rice to go. Then it was the fruit cup, 2:30 that morning. And then I couldn't sleep after eating the fruit cup. And I got up 6:30 Monday morning and I ate the quesadillas.
Yeah.
Now she also does like people that's diabetic. She make meals for them.
Exactly. She does catering, very professional service.
Yes.
Love to use her for the children. Very professional, very clean, very just all over the overall presentation. And if you know me, I love for my students to have good things.
Yes.
And
we definitely know that.
I support a lot of people, but if I support you, you're definitely worth having. So I'll definitely tell A Side of Sunshine. They do meal prep for lunch. If you have a company, anyone.
One thing I do love about you, you really keep things local, and that's good because we want our local business to thrive. You know, a lot of the big business, you know, they really control the market. Like you going, you know, Walmart, you got to pay their prices and all that. You know, and then, but at the same time, is the price you're paying, is it good food? Because that's one of the issues now. You really don't know what you're getting. So when you deal with local and dealing with, you know, local business, it not only supports the business, but it supports the area, and you supporting that person.
Right.
And that's something that I want to start doing, supporting.
Our Ujamaa experience is February 27th. And if you are a vendor, if you have a business, all vendors are free.
Oh, wow.
So that's our opportunity to come out to the plaza.
I remember when you done that was so awesome.
Yeah,
My
and
wife, she's been talking about it every day.
Really?
Like
Did your wife come last?
No, she didn't come. She didn't do the last time, but she's been
Well,
talking about this one.
It's a great time to come out. This year, all of our vendors are free. You know, we just want to support your business. We just want your business to be seen. We're all about supporting businesses. All of our families that are entrepreneurs in our center, we support their business. We have the CMOS business we support.
Yes.
We have A Side of Sunshine meal prep. We have Pamela Williams Photography, takes all of our school pictures. We have, what other business we support? Curvitude Boutique. Ricardo and I buy clothes from Curvitude Boutique.
Macy's, Bernard's, was it Macy's Gym? Y'all,
Gracie's Gym.
Yes.
Pretty much if they are entrepreneur in our center, we have and we do support them and we push them to keep going out, keep expanding their business. Ricardo and I have another business initiative called 51 Bowls, 51 businesses owned by women that we support, and that launches on Monday. But we do support small businesses. That vendor event, if you haven't signed up for it, I'm going to tell you, Hella Smoke, that's a barbecue place. We support Hella Smoke. They have a barbecue business, entrepreneur that's there in our center, that child go there. But we always try and give them opportunities to advertise within the community. We always try and bring them out to show what they have, because we don't just want to support the family, you know, education-wise. If you have a business, we want to support it. We want to build community. We always teach our students that one thing you want to do, you want to always impact your community. We can't change our community, but we can impact our community. So that means if you do something to impact, he does something to impact, I do something to impact, we're putting a dent in our community. That's the only way change happens, is everybody have to impact, and that's the way you get change.
And then, you know, I can also, you know, be a support. You know, if you want to sponsor RPI, you can do that. You know, if you want, you know, any support or anything like that, you know, because I don't do this for money. That's one thing. Let's get that out. I don't do it for money. I do it for one, I love the Lord, and then two, I want to support business, a lot of local business within the area. This is why I'm doing Dekel Mpact and other business. I want to do that because, you know, I'm seeing these big businesses and they just killing the people. You know, you go to Walmart and you easily now with the prices so high, if we're going to spend it, let's spend it on a business that we know that's trying to help the community.
Right.
You know, I haven't, last time you seen Walmart go out in the community and do stuff. You don't see that. It's the small business that does that. Now, I have nothing against Walmart. I'm just saying I want to support local. I remember back in the day when Broad Street used to be the place to go. There was so many business down Broad Street. Now it's like almost like a desert.
Wow.
But there was so many small, and there are still business down there. So let's support our local business, because our local business is really the heart of our city.
Definitely. We can't make it without the local.
We can't make it without the local business. Now, you can do what you get stuff at the big business, but the local business is the one that's going to help you in need. Hey, just like what happened in Kentucky. When that happened, the man, he had a he took his grill, drove it all the way down there, and just made hot dogs and hamburgers and drank the chip and just gave it and fed over 400 something people.
Wow.
You won't see Walmart doing that unless you give them something. You won't see Target, the local business. So we want to support Dekel Mpact. We want to support this business. We talking about educating our children. Wow. Taking them to not just taking to academic, but father. I never thought my son Christopher would want to work on cars.
Right.
Not only he's getting education, but he wants to work on cars now, and never thought my daughter Brianna would want to be talking, be a speaker. These are the things that they are bringing out to these children. If you have children that's always sitting in there and they're having a hard time in school, take them to Dekel Mpact. Give them the service, see what they can do. I see them take children that literally don't say much, and now they blossom.
Wow.
And not only they blossom, but they get educated and they learning things. They learning, they're teaching children what they started doing in school now is
financial literacy.
Yeah, no, the one financing. People don't understand financing is so important.
Yeah.
Your average kid, your average child that come out of high school or college don't even know how to pay bills. They don't know how to manage their money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I see now they start in school, which Dekel been doing this for a while, teaching finance.
Some of them can't even write a proper
check. Can't even write a proper check. They can't even, when you come out of college, they don't teach you, they teach you education, but you don't know how to balance your bills, when you buy a car, how much money you need to save, This is the thing that Dekel Mpact teaches. Wow. And I push that, and I support it. If I didn't, she wouldn't have been here. So, but listen, we talk about us. How can they get in contact with you guys?
Okay, you can actually contact us through our Facebook page. You can send a message, Dekel Mpact Service. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Dekel Mpact Service. You can reach out to our website, www.dekelacademics.com, or you can call us at the center, 706-922-1509. I definitely want to say that we appreciate RPI, Patrick Isaac, and Brother Watson for allowing us to come on monthly. We hope every month that will be a blessing to your family and those that are doing the homeschool method. If you need support, call us. No question is too small. Those that are in public, the private sector, if you need support, if you just want them to come in for co-op, them come on and join us on a Saturday for automotive. The students have sewing this semester. They'll be taking sewing class.
Yeah, that is one of the things, sewing classes.
Yeah, they'll be taking sewing, our boys too.
Wow.
So because we want to expose them to everything. You never know what you like and you never know what you're good at until you try it.
You know the importance of sewing. Because I remember taking sewing school.
Really?
When my button came off one of my suits.
Yeah.
Tamika wasn't there. Guess who sewed the button back on?
Right.
No, Tamika was there. But she didn't have, guess I sewed the button back on.
Wow. And I don't sew any of my stuff. Matt has to sew my stuff.
Wow.
So, and we want them to be exposed to, all skills. You never know. Our boys may decide they want to get an embroidery shop. Right. That's sewing too. Right. So sometimes we look at just a small picture, but exposing them to all careers and all possibilities, we definitely want to expose them to. And we definitely will be back next next month, the first Tuesday in the month.
First Tuesday in the month.
With RPI, Patrick Eisen, Brother Watson, Ricardo will be here, just giving you some more information, some more tips, some things that are going on in the community. You know, for the children, we want to bring awareness to homeschooling. We want more people to try it. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay. If it doesn't work for the child, it's okay. You tried it. You've done it, but at least give it an opportunity.
Exactly.
See about spending that time with your child.
Hey, man. Any last words, Brother Watson?
just taking it all in, you know, because me and my wife, we've been doing a lot of talking, and the girls, my girls, they've been doing a lot of convincing, and I'm just excited about the future.
Because you homeschool your girls too.
Yeah, I guess you can call it that. I would. Right now they're going to. It's called a Georgia Cyber Academy.
Yeah.
So it's not like me homeschooling. They have like teachers online who they interact with. I help go over their work, but it's nothing like nothing like a Dekel.
Yeah,
nothing like that.
I think Dekel is one of a kind. Man. You don't find too many homeschool services like this.
Yeah, it's nothing like that.
And I'm not doing it just because my family go there. I'm doing it because the acceleration that I see in my family.
Right.
You know, and I want that, you know, want to have that services for other people. Yeah. You know, that you know, having, you know, issues and a lot of times, you know, some of the kids they have problems in school and and they just need, because one thing I learned with me, and I know about to run the time up, but I had a lot of problems. I needed more of a personal, a person that helped me. I didn't have that in school. You know, it was always, you know, the class teaching and, you know, and now I'm 47 years old. I'm paying for it. Right. You know, especially me writing. When it takes me a while to write a sentence or write something, you know, but I can, you know, articulate. I can do things, you know, but writing and reading is kind of like my not my slow point, but my low point. You know, and that's something that I don't want my kids to go through. I'm just blessed to be able to be in the position I am to take care of my family, you know, got a job. And but one of the issues I have is writing and reading. You know,
a lot of times, you know, students don't like to write because a lot of times it's expressive and expressive language skills. And you think about it in school, and, you know, I'm going to end on this note. When you think about it, I can't write if I'm not able to speak and verbalize.
Exactly.
Part of reading and writing goes with speaking.
Yes.
And that's why we encourage my grandbaby to speaking and to how are you feeling? You know, why do you feel like that? So if you can express it, then you can actually, you know, put it on paper. And a lot of times I found out, you know, students dislike writing because they come in, they don't know what to write. But what has happened is they have a deficit in expressive language skills. So because most of the time I'm not allowed to express myself, then I'm not going to write. But if I'm a person that, you know, kind of can talk and can express myself and not have that, you know, kind of intimidation when I'm young, then it helps with the overall, you know, writing and reading skills. So I think that those expressive language skills, you know, a lot of times Madison expressed us things that you was like, you know, that's your 4-year-old grandbaby expressing it. You know, I don't want to. Oh, okay. Well, could you tell me why you don't want to?
Exactly.
You know, instead of, well, you have to, or you're gonna, you know, could you tell me why you don't want to? Right. Or could we talk about what time do you want to do it? And let's see if we can negotiate, you know, the time and stuff. It makes it a little bit better instead of just, you know, shutting down her expressive language skills because she told me she didn't want to, so she expressed that's something she doesn't want, but we need to see why. And some things are not going to be a negotiable, but some things that I can negotiate, I can be flexible on.
Right. Got one last question.
Okay.
In the next, how would you see homeschool in the next 20 years? How would you think it would be?
That's a trick question because
as an educator, because you was a teacher and now doing homeschool, where do you see that in the next 20 years?
Now this is opinionated.
Okay.
Because see, homeschool is not going to change. It's our government.
Yes.
It's the government that's impacting the education. where we're at with our government, you know, right now, a shortage of teachers.
Yes. Yes.
You know, the COVID, we don't quite have a handle on the COVID.
Yes.
You know, we have, we're producing students that, you know, we say in America that's not work ready jobs. You got to remember who education was funded by, but that's a whole nother topic. You know, education wasn't created for what we think education was created for. And so I would say that it's our government that impacts, you know, education. Homeschooling is not going to change because it's been around. That was the first form of school.
Exactly.
So homeschool is not changing at all. But as our government is changing and things in our government and our world is changing, that's what's changing the numbers in homeschool. Homeschool has been around longer than any other type of school.
Yeah.
That's where it first come from,
Exactly.
homeschool. So it's here to stay. It's been here. It's not going anywhere. It's just that we as people have to become more educated, more knowledgeable about homeschooling and building up the confidence that you can homeschool and be a full-time, you know, parent and go do your other hobbies and, you know, it's just how much you want to intertwine your children into your regular life. You know, a lot of times we say we want to break away from the children. I don't want to break away from the children. Right. All my children are grown. I just had a conversation with a parent tonight. I recorded just text, formal education has been around less than 100 years.
Wow. And
so, of course, that's way less than the homeschooling. Right. But I just had a conversation with one of my parents tonight about being away from the children at the center. I don't look at them as my students. I look at them as my children. You know, their parents are sending them there not for a public school experience support, but for a home away from home support. Exactly. And that's what we are. I have to pinch myself and remind myself all the time that these children are not public school. These children are homeschooled, and Ricardo and I thrive with giving them that experience home away from home, because some can't be there full time to, you know, homeschool their children. They do need that support, but that doesn't mean they want to send them to, you know, our center and feel like it's a public school. So giving them that balance is very, very important in providing those experiences and opportunities. But homeschool isn't going anywhere. It's been here. It's here to stay. It's just more knowledge. You know, the numbers are rising with the amount of people that are taking homeschool, and just feeling confident and knowing that you can do it. So I would say in the next 20 years, homeschool's not changing. Hopefully the numbers will change and more people build that confidence and say, I can do it. You know, I've already made a plan with my children. You know, when you guys have children, none of the grandchildren go to public school. All the grandchildren homeschool.
Yeah. Right. And what you're saying is powerful. And I love how you say you look at the kids as children and not students, because as a mother, you're always going to treat your children the best. Right. You're going to give them the best. And when you look at them as your kids, as your own, even though they're not, but you look at that way, you're going to give them all. That's right. You know, because a good parent love and take care and excel their children.
That's true.
Yes.
You know. So, but listen, this has been an awesome show like always. We want to thank Dekel, Mpact, and Sandra and Ms. Dees for coming out. They will be here on the first month of every month, and we will. It broadens. We may have her. She may bring people that have businesses that support her. We may talk about it. We never know what the subject gonna be. Like, you know, me and Brother Sean, we don't never know what God gonna do, and we don't never know what God gonna do with Miss Kelly and Miss Dees. I'm gonna let them get in here and whatever topics. And I do encourage when they hear, call in. Call. I know we ain't get no calls today, but call in. It's probably my fault, because sometimes when I do calls, I get a call in. Nobody never call because I be talking so much. But call in. These are very important. I know here in South Carolina and in Georgia, and a lot of people at the radio station they homeschooled. I know a lot of homeschool their children. If you want questions, this would be the time. She gave you numbers. You can call in private or go on my Facebook page. But we're going to get ready to conclude the show, because we got to get out of here. Everything was so beautiful and so awesome. So you guys have been listening to In the Last Days. I am the host of the show, RPI Radio, Pastor Isaac, with the owners, co-owners of Dekel Mpact, with Miss Sandra Kelly and Miss Ricardo Deed and my brother, Brother Sean Watson. We want to say a great God bless you. See you next Tuesday, and be vigilant and have faith in the Lord.
The natural use of the woman burned in their lust one toward another. Men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was mean. And even as they did